me record. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So inshallah, our today's topic is management of paracetamol overdose. So inshallah, in this lecture, we will cover the sign and symptoms of paracetamol overdose, how it happens, and what is the diagnosis for paracetamol overdose, and what is the antidote available, and the complete management means how it is given, what time, how much milligram by IV infusion, everything. Okay, inshallah. So you can see the picture. This is about the acetaminophen or paracetamol overdose, and the time is very important in the management of paracetamol overdose. The time from the ingestion of paracetamol. IV NAC is the antidote, IV given by IV route. NAC is the antidote, N-acetylcysteine. Okay, and mainly there is a problem with the liver in a paracetamol overdose, and the patient will have vomiting, increase in the ALT, bilirubin level, prothrombin time, and AST, etc. So this, just a brief picture. Don't bother yourself. Okay, paracetamol overdose. It's very common type of poisoning, and 40% poison admissions. Paracetamol overdose is very, very common. Why? Because paracetamol is OTC drug available in the every home. And whenever you have mixed ingestion, remember, whenever there is a mixed ingestion, yani a person he take multiple drugs for suicide or whatever. So one of them will be always paracetamol. And 40% of the people who take paracetamol overdose, they have to be admitted in the hospital. Often, sometimes the paracetamol overdose is asymptomatic. The person does not show any symptom. And if the overdose of paracetamol is massive, huge, then it can be deadly, lethal. So every year, 200 to 300 people die because of paracetamol overdose. And if you have a patient, or I would say victim with paracetamol overdose in the hospital, you have to check the level of paracetamol in his or her blood at 4 hours. Any 4 hours from the time of ingestion of paracetamol overdose. And actually we have treatment lines, or you can say graph. We will have a graph like this, okay, like this graph. So there are actually two graphs. One is a normal graph, or you can say normal treatment line, and another is called high risk graph or high risk treatment line. So you can say this is a normal treatment line, one, and another one will be like this down, which is very small, and it is called as the treatment line for high risk. We will see, there are pictures in the coming slides. Is my voice audible, clear, everything? Yes, Shabab?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So before we go actually to the poisoning and the overdose, let's see what is the metabolism of paracetamol when it is taken in a normal dose. And like everyone take 500 milligram. So if someone take a normal dose, what will happen? And if someone take a overdose, what will happen in the metabolism? So paracetamol is metabolized by mainly glucuronidation. This is a metabolism mechanism in the liver, glucuronidation. So 60% of paracetamol mainly by glucuronidation, sulfation 35%, oxidation 10%. So this is how paracetamol is metabolized in the liver by different mechanism. So what happens during this metabolism? There is a cytochrome P450 enzyme system, which are called as microsomal enzymes, present in the liver. While metabolizing paracetamol, they produces a toxic metabolite called as NAPQI. So remember, NAPQI is also a metabolic product of paracetamol, but this is toxic. So NAPQI stands for N-acetyl P-benzoquinone imine. So this is NAPQI. So NAPQI is a toxic metabolite which causes liver damage, or you can say hepatocellular necrosis. Even in the normal dose. Suppose I am taking 500 milligram for my headache, for something, then in my liver also the liver will metabolize paracetamol and produces NAPQI in everyone's body. Tamam? And this NAPQI is toxic to the liver. But everyone does not have liver damage. Why? Because NAPQI is detoxified, or you can say neutralized by conjugation with glutathione. Everyone has glutathione in their body. Okay, glutathione, it is, like you can say, it's like a neutralizer for NAPQI. So glutathione combines with NAPQI and neutralize it. So we will not have any liver damage. Okay, but remember, NAPQI is formed in everyone who is taking paracetamol, and it is actually hepatocellular necrosis, causes damage, and damage by this NAPQI is irreversible. So look here, no need to memorize the structure. Okay, the structure is just to make you understand. So paracetamol mainly metabolized by glucuronidation to inactive metabolite, and some amount of paracetamol is metabolized by sulfation to another inactive metabolite, and a very small amount of paracetamol is metabolized to NAPQI, which is a toxic. Okay, but what happens? Our body has glutathione. So remember, GSH means this is glutathione. This GSH means glutathione. So glutathione neutralize this toxic metabolite to non-toxic. Okay, if there is no glutathione, or if there is a deficiency of glutathione, what does happen? What do you think? If there is a deficiency or a lack of glutathione?
Hepatocellular necrosis.
Yeah, so very good. If there is no glutathione, no neutralization of NAPQI, so NAPQI will be increase in the body, and it will go to the liver, causes hepatocellular necrosis or liver damage. So ALT, AST, bilirubin, kullu all increases because they indicate liver damage. Is this clear?
Clear.
Yeah. So what happens in an overdose? Suppose if someone take 6 gram of paracetamol, what will happen? Of course, the paracetamol will be metabolized by glucuronidation, by sulfation, but the formation of NAPQI will be high because taken overdose. So there will be more NAPQI. So what happens? Glutathione will be less and NAPQI will be more. So what happens? Liver damage, or you can say paracetamol overdose. So normally there are normal people who take a paracetamol. Okay, there are also high risk categories or high risk people. Okay, and these people, if they take little more paracetamol also, it will be toxic for them. Did you understand my point? High risk categories, or they are called as high risk people or categories. For example, some people have increased oxidation. Who? The one who uses alcohol, drink lot of alcohol, chronic alcohol use. So what do you think? The one who drink alcohol chronically, they are at a high risk of paracetamol overdose. And if they just take 3 gram or 4 gram, it will be very toxic for them because they belongs to high risk category. And the people who are already taking some drugs, okay, so what will happen if the people are already taking drugs? Their liver will
Yeah,
be busy in metabolizing these drugs. So then who will metabolize paracetamol? It will accumulate more NAPQI, more damage. Okay. So the people who have increased oxidation are chronic alcohol users and the people who use drugs. Here drugs means normal drug, okay, not heroin, cocaine or like this. Drugs for their diabetes and many other things. Any multiple drugs you can say. And there are some people who are also at a high risk category, but they don't have increased oxidation. They are not chronic alcoholic, but they have less glutathione in their body, or you can say reduced glutathione stores in their body. Which type of people? Malnutrition. Okay, the people who don't have enough nutrition, so they have less glutathione. You know, if less glutathione, more risk of paracetamol overdose. Am I right?
yes,
And also the people who have eating disorder, they are also having less glutathione store. So eating disorder means, here remember, eating disorder means uh, the people they eat food quickly, a lot of food. Then after eating, their GIT will be disturbed. Khalas, then they will vomit or they will take laxative and go to hammam. Then you eat too much, then remove it by vomiting or by using laxative. Is that clear? This is
Clear.
called, yeah, the eating disorder. Don't think, mashallah, eating disorder means he will eat more and he will be very healthy. No, they eat lot, then they vomit alatul, or they go to hammam by using laxative. So that also decreases glutathione. And chronic liver disease, of course, if someone have a liver disease, already liver is taban, and when the liver is taban, they are at a high risk of paracetamol overdose. So liver disease like liver cirrhosis, hepatitis, you know, the hepatitis C, then viral hepatitis. This, yes, hepatitis C is a viral hepatitis, or cirrhosis, fatty liver, all liver diseases, they are at a high risk. So please remember, these are the high risk people at paracetamol overdose. Talking about the antidote which is available to treat the paracetamol overdose. So I mentioned the name of antidote is N-acetylcysteine, or you can say the abbreviation is NAC. N-acetylcysteine is an antidote. And this antidote is most effective within 8 hours of paracetamol ingestion. And if this antidote is used within 8 hours of taking poison, it will be highly effective. But remember, it does not mean that if any patient comes to the emergency hospital after 8 hours, suppose he take paracetamol before 10 hours, if he come to the hospital, you have to give him NAC. You are getting my point? It does not mean you should not give. But if you use it before 8 hours or within 8 hours, it's very effective, Yani. Okay. And how this N-acetylcysteine is useful in paracetamol overdose? Because of this property. So N-acetylcysteine act as a precursor or a substrate or a starting material for glutathione production. So N-acetylcysteine increases more glutathione in the body, and you know, if there is more glutathione, more what you say, neutralization of NAPQI, so less chance of liver damage, the symptoms will improve, the person will recover fast. And in some patients, when you give N-acetylcysteine by IV, it may cause, allergic reaction, anaphylactic reaction in some people. So we will see if anaphylactic reactions happens, how to manage it, inshallah. General information: paracetamol overdose is a significant cause of hospital admission, but severe liver damage or liver injury is rare. And in most of the cases, severe liver injury does not happen. There will be, acute to mild liver damage, but it happens. Okay, severe liver injury happens, but it is very rare. And even when it does occur, the prognosis is usually good. Even if the severe liver injury happens, no problem. You give the NAC on time, everything, inshallah, the prognosis, the outcome will be good. Death from paracetamol poisoning is also rare, but it does happen.
What do you mean by prognosis usually good?
Prognosis means the improvement of the patient.
Yes, okay.
Improvement in his symptoms, improvement in his health, his consciousness, his BP, everything, any improvement. So even if there is a liver damage, you give the drug, NAC, everything, the improvement in the patient will be better and good. Death from paracetamol poisoning is rare and does not occur in patients treated with N-acetylcysteine within 8 hours of acute ingestion. Yes. So the people in which you use N-acetylcysteine within 8 hours of paracetamol ingestion, in such patient, death will not occur. Coming to the signs and symptoms of paracetamol overdose. So the sign and symptoms of paracetamol poisoning include repeated vomiting. The person will vomit repeatedly, and abdominal tenderness in the right upper quadrant. Means a person will have pain in the abdomen, in the stomach. Which side of the stomach? Right up, no tahat, above. Yani you can say there will be a tenderness. Tenderness means abdominal tenderness. Tenderness means pain when touched. If you touch it, the patient will feel the pain. Which side? Right side of the stomach and upper. Okay, because there is a liver in this place. So because of liver damage, a person will have pain. And also there is altered consciousness or mental status changes. Hypoglycemia on presentation is very rare. Once the patient comes to the emergency room with paracetamol overdose, if you check the glucose there, hypoglycemia is very rare, and it will not be there. But it is important to consider in late presentation if liver failure has occurred. Yes, if liver has failed already and the presentation is late means a patient is coming after a long time, and he take paracetamol overdose before 12 hours, 15 hours. So in such condition, there will be hypoglycemia. So you have to check.
Doctor, can you repeat it, please?
Hypoglycemia on presentation is rare. Means when the patient with paracetamol overdose comes to the emergency of hospital, hypoglycemia is rare. You will not find any hypoglycemia because the liver is working still. If liver is damaged, you can see in the second sentence, if liver damage has already occurred and if the presentation is very late, any 15 hours and like that, then you have to consider hypoglycemia. You have to check. There will be hypoglycemia. Is that clear? For acute early presentation, hypoglycemia rare. For late presentation, for the patient in which already liver damage has occurred, there it will be hypoglycemia and you have to check it. Any patient should be considered to be at a risk of severe liver injury if they have ingested paracetamol above the threshold level. So here we will see what is the threshold level for paracetamol. Yani, if suppose what is the normal therapeutic dose of paracetamol? Normal dose which everyone takes.
Not more than 6 tablets, I think.
No,
80
not
gram.
normal
Maximum 80
therapeutic
gram.
dose. Normal therapeutic dose. If someone have headache or flu,
500 ml.
Yeah.
500?
500 milligram. Very good. Yes. So normal therapeutic dose is 500 mg. Okay. If suppose someone he work a lot in his company or job, he's very tired, he don't have sleep from 2 to 3 days. Instead of 500 milligram, if he take 2 tablet or 3, do you consider him as a overdose and take him to hospital?
No.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. So inshallah, in the table 1, we will see what is the threshold level of paracetamol. Means if someone ingest this much or above this, then you will consider him as a overdose. Okay, I will show you in the coming table. Regardless of the potential ingested dose, all patients with deliberate self-poisoning. What do you mean? Deliberate self-poisoning means suicidal or intentional. So all the patients with suicidal or intentional poisoning should have serum paracetamol level measured to further refine the risk of hepatic injury and thus need for the NAC. Yes. So the patient who have ingested paracetamol for suicide or intentional, we must check their paracetamol level because it's a suicidal. There is always a chance of huge amount of paracetamol, ingestion. Okay. If you have a
What does it mean suicidal? What does it mean suicidal, you said?
What do you say suicidal? Can anybody
انتحار.
انتحار.
deliberate
Yes, what does it
self-poisoning? Yeah, suicidal for intentional. They want to kill themselves.
Yes.
So when you see that it is a deliberate or suicidal, of course it will be very high amount of paracetamol. So we must check the serum level because it's deliberate, and then based on the serum paracetamol we can assess the liver injury. Then we can decide, should I give him the antidote or no need of antidote, like this. So the other class of people, the adult and the pediatric patient without deliberate self-poisoning, means it was not suicidal or intentional, bidun, without intentional, who are not considered at a risk. Yani they take overdose of paracetamol. You are getting my point?
Yeah.
They take overdose of paracetamol, but it was not deliberate, it was not intentional, but overdose is taken. And they are also not considered at a risk, means they are not chronic alcoholic, they are not malnutrition, they don't belong to the risk category. Okay, then what you do, do not require serum paracetamol level in such patient. No need to check paracetamol level or liver function test or follow up. It means just you will observe them. You got my point? Because it's accidental, by mistake. Okay, so this is the very important table. You must memorize it, and this table is about the threshold paracetamol level, which is considered as a hepatotoxic. Yani it's actually the hepatotoxic overdose, potentially hepatotoxic paracetamol overdose. So you can see the above 2 columns, column 1 and column 2, and here also you have 2 rows, row 1 and row 2. So first I will tell you on the columns. Column indicate the age. So first column is for the adults and the children who are more than 6 years, and the column 2 is for the children who are 0 to 6 years. So this for age. And what about the rows, row 1 and row 2? Row 1 is for acute single ingestion, yani the paracetamol overdose is taken acutely, single injection means in one time. You got my point? Yani in a short period of time, within 8 hours, for example. You getting my point? Yani he takes, suppose
Yeah, doctor.
if someone take 6 tablet now, and 6 o'clock in the evening again he take 10 tablets. So in a very short period of time he took the more paracetamol. So that is acute single injection. The second is repeated, yani here he is not taking one time, repeated, taking repeatedly, or you can say chronically. Supratherapeutic means the dose taken by him is not therapeutic, supra, more than therapeutic. If therapeutic is 500, he is taking more than that, 1 gram, 2 gram, he is taking more than therapeutic, and he is taking repeatedly. Injection means taken. Okay, here the patient is taking many doses in one day or in 2 days, okay, or in 3 days. So yani the drug is taken repeatedly in a longer period compared to acute single injection. Okay, so what is acute single injection for adults and the children who are 6 years of age and above? Yani if someone take at least 10 gram of paracetamol, so 10 gram means here how many tablet it will be?
20 different.
20, yes.
20 from 500.
500 milligram, yeah. So if someone take at least 10 gram of paracetamol or 200 mg per kg body weight, whichever is lower, whichever is small, you consider that, over a period of less than 8 hours, yani 10 gram or 200 mg per kg paracetamol is taken within 8 hours of, yani within 8 hours of time, that will be considered as acute single injection. What is acute single injection for children who are 0 to 6 year? No 10 gram, just khalas, delete 10 gram, only 200 mg per kg or more over a period of less than 8 hours. Okay, and death has not been reported in this setting. So the death, no death in this case has been reported or occurred. What is repeated supratherapeutic injection? At least 10 gram or 200 mg per kg, whichever is lower, same like this, over a period of 24 hours. Here it was over a period of less than 8 hours, here it is 24 hours. Or another scenario is at least 6 gram or 150 mg per kg, whichever is lower, per 24 hour for preceding 48 hours. Did you get this point? First point is clear, 10 gram or 200 mg per kg in 24 hours. Okay. Second is if someone takes 6 gram or 150 mg per kg in one day per 24 hour, means in one day, like this, if he take for 48 hours, means if he take like this for 2 days, means if he take 12 gram in 2 days, you are getting my point?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
6 gram or 150 mg per kg every 24 hour, like this he take for 2 days, then he will be the case of repeated supratherapeutic injection. Or more than 4 gram per day, remember, more than 4 gram per day or 100 mg per kg, whichever is less, in a patient with predisposed risk factor. And who are at the risk factor? Can you just tell me?
Alcoholic.
Yeah, chronic alcoholic, people who are taking the drugs, malnutrition,
Liver disease.
yes, malnutrition, eating disorder, liver
Exactly.
diseases, yeah. So if those people take 4 gram per day or 100 milligram per kg, that will be considered as a repeated supratherapeutic injection. And for this column, yes, this one, for children 0 to 6 years, 200 mg per kg or more in a 24 hours, like same like adult, remove just this 10 gram for children. 150 mg per kg or more for every 24 hour for the preceding 48 hours, same like adult, just remove 6 gram, and 100 mg per kg or more every 24 hour like this for the last 3 days. Okay, because of course the infant will not be a alcohol drinker, am I right? Or he will not be, you know, malnutrition or having other eating disorder. So that's why risk
Yes.
factor not mentioned here, only it's here. Okay, so I think, you know, it will be easy for you to memorize. You must memorize it, which is acute single injection in which age, and which is supratherapeutic injection in which age. Okay. Following acute overdose, you know, the first one within 8 hours. So following a acute overdose, the most important factor that determine prognosis is delay beyond 8 hours before the initiation of NAC. Yeah. Suppose you get a patient or you get a victim, he take overdose of paracetamol and he comes to the emergency, and the paracetamol overdose is acute. So in that patient, the prognosis depends on what? You know, prognosis means his improvement depends on what factor? Depends on this factor, initiation of NAC. Yani if you delay means if you delay the start of NAC more than 8 hours, then the prognosis will be less. If you start the NAC within 8 hours, then the prognosis will be good. Is this point clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So prognosis depends on how quickly you start the NAC initiation. Okay. Theoretically, the patient factors that might increase the risk of liver injury are these risk patients. Again, they have mentioned here. These are the people who are at a high risk of liver injury. Who? Chronic alcoholic patient. First thing. And second thing, I said the people who are taking drugs. So which drugs? They mentioned here clearly. The people who are taking the enzyme inducing drugs. The people who are taking microsomal inducing drugs such as barbiturate, carbamazepine, rifampicin, and isoniazid, but not phenytoin. So these are the drugs which induces the microsomal hepatic system in the liver. So such drugs increase the risk of liver injury. And also we have seen the patients who are at a risk of liver injury are those who have less glutathione, those who have deficiency of glutathione. Who will have deficiency of glutathione? Example is given, malnutrition, or you can say recent prolonged fasting, yani fasting for a very long time. Acute illness, yani having acute illness with prolonged vomiting and dehydration. If someone was very sick and he has continuous vomiting, diarrhea, dehydration from a long time, he will be very, very much ill, and there is a chance that he will have less glutathione. So he is at a risk. Anorexia nervosa. So anorexia nervosa means, what do you mean by anorexia?
Not eating.
Yes.
No, yeah, not eat. You can say lack of appetite, not feeling hungry. Anorexia means if the person is having anorexia, he will not eat. If he will not eat, what will happen? Malnutrition. If malnutrition, glutathione will be less. Or some people may have bulimia. Bulimia means the one which I explained earlier.
Isn't it when you throw up so many times?
Yeah, bulimia means eating a lot. Junk eating. They say junk or bunch eating too much. But after eating, vomiting or going to hammam, anyone. Okay, and not allowing the time for absorption for the food. Both are eating disorder. What do you think? Anorexia nervosa also is a eating disorder where person is not eating. Bulimia is also the eating disorder where person is eating too much, but after eating, either vomiting or laxity. Malnutrition for other reasons, like if someone has a cancer, HIV, and they have a malnutrition, this also could be another reason for glutathione depletion. And the other people who are at a risk of liver injury are patients with liver disease, viral hepatitis, alcoholic hepatitis, cirrhosis, etc. Okay. What is NAC? Anyone? A simple recall question here, please.
N-acetylcysteine, doctor.
N-acetylcysteine. Very good. MashaAllah. N-acetylcysteine is an effective antidote that prevents the mortality if it's administered within 8 hours of acute ingestion. So remember, time is important here for the effectiveness. It has also been shown to improve the prognosis if administered anytime after 8 hours following overdose. If some patient comes late, give him also the NAC, but the prognosis will be less compared to the antidote which is given before or within 8 hours. Okay. Now coming to the tolerance or of NAC when you give it to the patient. So usually, or you can say very commonly, NAC is well tolerated, means the patient does not show any adverse effect because of NAC injection. But the severe reactions are uncommon and may be due to accidental overdose or predisposing factors such as asthma. Yes, the people who have asthma, okay, or if you give high dose of NAC, then there will be allergic reaction. Otherwise, if you give the normal dose and the patient is not having any asthma, then there is a very, very less chance of any severe allergic reaction. So what is the allergic reaction which can happen in a patient with asthma or overdose, accidental overdose? The anaphylactic reaction can occur during initial infusion in 4 to 23% of the patients. Then if you are giving it to the 100 people, 4 to 23% of the patients may show anaphylactic reaction. How you know anaphylactic reaction? Patients start having rashes in the body, having breathing difficulty, that is bronchospasm, and rarely can also have a hypotension. Okay, so these are what? These are the symptoms of anaphylactic reaction caused by NAC. And when this symptom can happen, if you give a NAC overdose or if the patient is having any predisposing factor like asthma. What happens? Suppose there is a patient with the paracetamol overdose and you give him NAC and you started to see the anaphylactic reactions. What you can do now in this scenario? If there is a reaction, anaphylactic reaction, then the infusion should be stopped. Stop giving the IV infusion until his anaphylactic reactions are resolved. Then again reinstitute at a reduced rate and slowly titrate back up. Once the all rashes, itching and his bronchospasm is go, then again start the infusion slowly with the small dose and increase it to the your expected titration.
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Does this also work in other drugs or just this one specifically?
Which one?
This to resolve the reaction, the anaphylactic reaction.
Uh-huh.
Does this also work on other drugs or this only?
No. Anaphylactic reactions common with the NAC antidote.
Okay, Doc.
Yeah. You mean in case of any other overdose of drug or?
Yeah, like for example, anaphylactic reactions with other drug. Will this work also, this method?
No.
Okay, Doc. Thank you.
So now a very important slide, administration of NAC. How to give N-acetylcysteine for a paracetamol overdose patient. So remember, whenever NAC is required, NAC has to be infused. Yani it's not given the bolus, it's given by IV infusion. And how it is given? It's given in 3 stages IV infusion, giving a total dose of 300 mg per kg over 20 hours. Yani if suppose you have to give the NAC, you have to divide the NAC in 3 stages. Okay, and the total dose including all the 3 stages, it will be 300 mg per kg. And how much time you will take to give the NAC infusion? 20 hours. The infusion time, and it will be given slowly by IV infusion for 20 hours. So as I said, the NAC infusion is divided in 3 stages. Stage 1, or you can say first infusion, stage 2, second infusion, and stage 3, that is third infusion. So let's see in first infusion how you do. Initial dose is 150 mg per kg. Okay, it is the dose of NAC, 150 mg per kg, and it is diluted in 200 ml of 5% dextrose or glucose and infused over 15 to 60 minutes under close medical supervision due to incidence of anaphylactic reaction. Yani what you do in first infusion, you will do the dose calculation for NAC. How much NAC you will give here? 150 mg per kg. So suppose if the patient body weight is 60 kilo, so what you will do? 150 darab 60. Am I right?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. So in the infusion one, you take a patient body weight, and based on that you multiply 150. Then that NAC you will take and dissolve in infusion bottle. How much infusion? There is 200 ml dextrose solution. You take a NAC and dissolve it, and through IV cannula give to the patient for 15 to 1 minutes to 60 minutes under close medical supervision. Why? Because there is a chance of anaphylactic reaction. In the second infusion, you will take 50 mg per kg NAC and dilute in the more glucose, 500 ml of 5% glucose. And here infusion is slowly for 4 hours, slow IV infusion. And stage 3, 100 mg per kg NAC diluted in 1 liter of 5% glucose, infused over 16 hours. So what was our the criteria? In NAC infusion should be given in how many stages?
3
3
stages.
stages.
3 stages. How much dose total? The Camil dose total is
300
300
milligram per kg.
Yeah, so please count 150 in the stage 1, Jama 50 in the stage 2, so 200, and in the stage 3, 100. So 300, am I right?
Correct, doctor.
Yeah,
Yes.
150, 50, 100. And a total dose is 300 mg per kg. For how much hours? 20. So in the infusion one, how much time you are taking? 15 to 16 minutes.
15 to 60 minutes.
Minute, yani it's in the minute. Some patient maybe he take just 15, another patient maybe 20 minutes, yani it's a minute. So khalas, no need, just leave it, because it's dagiga, not hour. You got my point? It's a minute, 15, 16, 17, like this. Second infusion, how much time?
It's 4 hours.
4. And the third infusion?
16 minutes. 16 hours.
Yeah, so 16 Jama 4, how much?
20.
20. So 300 mg per kg, 20 hour in 3 stage. Is this clear?
Yes.
Super clear, doctor.
Okay. So now what happens is, actually the NAC will be available in the vial, okay? Vial, or you can say ampule, whichever, vial in the hospital. like this vial. Okay, the NAC is available like a vial or ampule. So suppose, just I will give you a practical question now. I will say I have a patient whose wajan 60 kilo. 60 kilo is the wajan. So how much NAC should I give him in the first infusion? Quickly, Shabab, this is a practice, like a practice. 60 darab. Yes, how much? Because NAC should be given based on body weight.
It's 9,000, doctor.
Yeah, 9,000 milligram. Sir?
Yes. It's mean 9 gram.
Hey, 9 gram. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
So now your result is in the milligram or gram, not in the milli. But NAC infusion is available in any solution. It's not in the milligram or gram. It's not a powder. It's a liquid. So yani you have to convert your 9,000 milligram to milli. You got my point?
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah, your answer is in the milligram, but you have to convert it into milli because NAC is in the milli, in the solution. So like this you have to calculate for first infusion, like this for second infusion. Yani first make a calculation for milligram, but then convert milligram to milli. So what will happen? What will happen? There can be, yes, can you see this? What can happen? Yes, what can happen, ya Shabab? Error. Prescription error can occur because every time you have to do the calculation. You get my point? Can you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
No one is answering. Okay. So,
Doctor,
yeah.
can you tell me again how do we calculate?
It's calculated based on stages. For example, if the weight of patient who is coming with personal overdose 60, if I want to give him first infusion of NAC, dose is 150 mg per kg, means I will make 150 darab his wajan 60. That will be 9,000 milligram. Then for second infusion, 50 mg per kg, means 50 darab 60. So like this, based on the body weight, you have to do the calculation. Okay. And once you do the calculation, what is your result in the milligram? Like for example, if 150 mg per kg, then for 60 kilo, 9,000 milligram. Okay. 150 darab 60 will be 9,000. So that is a result in milligram. Then again, I have to convert it into milli because the NAC infusion is in the ampule, in the bottle, in the milli. So yani you have to do many calculations every time. Stage 1 calculation, stage 2, stage 3. So what will happen? You may do a mistake. You are getting my point?
Yes.
Yeah. So there can be a prescription error when you are calculating the dose of a NAC recommended by mg per kg dose. And every time do calculation milligram, then convert to milli. So there can be a mistake. So how we can avoid this mistake? So the best way is, how we can do avoid this mistake? By using the, yes, please remember this, NAC infusion or NAC intravenous infusion guide. Yes, using this guide will allow the dose in ml to be calculated and charted in just one step, not multiple step, like convert milligram, then milligram to milli, then like this. So no, if you use this NAC intravenous infusion guide, khalas, there will be no error in the calculation, inshallah. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now
So we're not going to the 3 stages?
No, stages will be 3, but no hisab, no calculation.
Oh, okay.
Of course, there will be stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, but no calculation. this NAC intravenous infusion guide to avoid the calculation and error. Okay. Yeah, this is a NAC. Yes, can you see? This is the NAC intravenous infusion dosage guide. So it will be available with the NAC ampule only. Did you get my point? And when you take the N-acetylcysteine from pharmacy or from hospital, it's in the box. So when you open the box, you see the glass ampule which contain NAC, and there will be leaflet, leaflet, the paper, and this leaflet will have this information. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, doctor.
So now in how many stages NAC will be given?
3 stages.
Yeah, 3 stages. Initial, or you can say first, second, the third. There will be stages. You do the calculation hisab by calculator or use NAC infusion guide, whichever. There will be 3 stages. Okay, remember that. But using NAC intravenous infusion guide will avoid the calculation and error. How? Just for example, so if you have, this is a body weight, wazan in the kilogram. This is body weight in kilogram. If you have a patient with 60 kilo, what you will do? If there is a patient with 60 kilo, normally what you were doing according to this this method?
Calculated.
Yeah, calculate 150 darab 60, then you will get 900 milligram, then convert 900 milligram to milli, like this. But here, no. If you have a NAC infusion guide, if the wazn of the patient is 60 kilo, khalas, just take 45 milli, just take 45 milli NAC, then take 200 ml of 5% glucose and dissolve it, khalas, give by IV line. But simple. Is this clear?
Clear, doctor. But what if it is 65 or 64?
Yeah, I will tell for that. So first, to clear, just take a simple example. If someone 60 kilo, take 45 ml NAC, take the bag of glucose 200 milli, put this 45 ml and start the IV infusion for stage 1. Stage 1, how much time? 15 minutes to 60 minutes. Then for once this is khalas finished, then again for stage 2, take 15 milli NAC and dissolve in 500 ml 5% glucose, give by IV infusion for 4 hours.
4 hours.
Then once this 4 hour finish, again take 30 milli NAC, dissolve in 1 liter 5% glucose, give it for 16 hours. So Kamil, total how much NAC you gave? 30 jama 15 jama 45. And in total you need 90 milli NAC for the patient who is wazan 60 kilo. Okay, this is for the round wazan. Now if you have a weight of a patient whose weight is 62, 63, what to do? So here I will show you the before slide. So for your information, NAC is supplied in 10 ml ampules. Yani the NAC is available, how much bigger? 10 milli ampule. The table 2, which is this one, allows easy calculation of volume of NAC required for each infusion. Okay, it will decrease your calculation time and error. Patient lean body weight is estimated to be the nearest 10. Yes. Yeah, Abdul Aziz, this is for
Yes.
your question. Yani you will calculate the body weight of a person near to the 10 kilo. Okay, for example,
Okay.
if someone is 61, he's near to which one? He's near to 60 or 70?
60, doctor.
Yeah. So if someone is 61, 62, 63, 64, you will consider him as a 60. If someone is 66, 67, 68, 69, he will be considered yani garib. You see whichever is near. If someone is 65, any in the middle, then it is on you. You take hina or lahina, no problem. You get my point?
Yeah.
But keep in the mind, you have to take the weight of a patient near to the 10. Okay?
Clear, doctor.
Yeah, if someone is 88, what will be his volume here? 88. 88.
I will consider him 90.
You will consider him as a 90. Very good. So his NAC volume for stage 1 will be 67.5, 22.5 for stage 2, 45 for stage 3. Okay, so remember, you know how to use the table. Please remember, you must know how to use this table. No need to memorize number or rakam, nothing. Don't memorize 37, this. Don't memorize this. This table will be available with the NAC infusion in the box. So don't memorize the information, but you should know if this paper is given, how you will utilize it. Okay. So now this table will be helpful to you till what version?
90.
Yeah, till 90. If someone is more than 90, yes, if someone is more than 90, then what to do? If someone is more than 90 means X. Means if someone is more than 90 kilo, this table will not help you. You have to do the calculation. Tamam, you get my point? For example, let me write 98. If someone is 98, what you will do? 98, okay, multiply by 0.75. You get my point?
Yeah, doctor.
98 zarab 0.75. So how much it will be? Just do the calculation. 98.
73.5.
Aywa, 73.5 mana you will write here. Yani for the initial infusion, he need 73.5 milli of NAC. Same way for this, 98 darab 0.25. So for stage 2, how much he need? 24.5. Did you get my point? And if someone is
Yes.
more than 90 kilo, then you have to do the calculation. Yani multiply by 0.75 for stage 1, multiply by 0.25 for stage 2, multiply by 0.5 for stage 3. Okay, that will give
Doctor,
you, yeah.
can we round the number of the eggs, or it should be exactly the weight? So 98, can we round it to 100 or?
No. Whatever number, you have to write number. Here not to near 10. La. Near 10 only if you are directly taking, above. If he's
Okay.
98, 98. If he's 98.5, 98.5. You get my point?
Yes.
Yeah. So maximum is 110. Mana 110. So maximum is how much? 110. Suppose if someone body weight is 110, what you will do for stage 1? 110 multiply 0.75. 110 multiply 0.25. 110 multiply 0.25, 0.5. Same like 98 till 110. If someone body weight is 125, please listen. If someone body weight is 125, you will consider him as, yes, 110. Anyone who is above 110, you consider him as 110 only. He is 125, 130, 135, 140, 145, 150 kilo, whichever kilo. You do for him calculation like 110. Is that clear?
Clear, doctor.
Yeah. Please see here. If the body weight of the patient If the body weight of the patient is more than 110, then calculate the volume of NAC thinking that he's 110. Maybe he's 120, maybe he's 125, 130, 135, whichever, but you consider him as 110 as a maximum. Okay, is that clear? Next, suppose if the patient was having a previous adverse reaction to NAC, yani he was having paracetamol overdose before and that time they gave him NAC, so he was having the anaphylactic reaction. What you will do now? Will you say, oh, you have anaphylactic reaction and you are contraindicated? No, you will give him a NAC, but with
reduced rate.
Yeah, reduce rate with a precaution, slowly. So initial infusion should be given slowly with the precaution, but that does not mean that NAC is contraindicated. You have to give him NAC. Okay. So I think this table is clear how to use the NAC infusion guide to avoid the calculation errors. Please remember the points. These are the points. Yani taking nearest to 10, calculating someone who is more than 110 as a 110 only, etc. Okay. So now dosing of NAC for children. Okay. So for children, Bismillah. For adult, what is the dose of, not dose, I will say volume of glucose? Can you tell me what is the volume of glucose for adult? This is adult. For stage 1, how much glucose you will use?
200 ml.
5%, 200 ml for stage 1. For stage 2?
500 ml of 5%.
Yeah, for stage 3, 1 liter or 1000 milli. Yani you are using direct, the volume. Glucose 200 here, 500 here, 1 liter here. Maybe he is 50 kilo patient, maybe he is 90 kilo patient. You are using the same amount of glucose. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, if he is a 50 kilo, NAC will be 37.5. If he is 80 kilo, NAC will be 60. And there is a difference in the NAC. But is there any difference in the glucose? No.
No.
Yeah. But for the children, yes. But for the children, we do the calculation of glucose based on body weight. No fix. Yani, you get my point?
Yeah.
So let's see for the children whose body weight or body wazn is less than 20 kilo and they have taken paracetamol overdose and you want to give him NAC. So NAC normally in case of adult 3 stage, but in case of children, please remember, this will be a very important point in the exam also. What is the difference in the NAC given to the adult and given to the children? What is the first difference? First difference is volume of glucose is based on body weight. Am I right? This is first difference. Second difference is the NAC is given in 4 stages, not 3 for children. 1, 2, 3, 4 stage. What is stage 1? 150 mg per kg. NAC is given in 3 ml per kg dextrose. See, the dextrose is based on body wazn, 3 ml for 1 kilo. Okay. Yani if the wazn of baby is 15 kilo, how much glucose he need? If
45.
45 milli. Am I right? Yes. If the weight of the baby or the weight of the child is 15 kilo, so 15 multiply 3. So he need 45 ml of 5% dextrose solution. Stage 2, 50 ml, 50 mg per kg. So you just memorize. Stage 1, 150, 3 ml per kg. Stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, 50, 50, 50. And dextrose volume 777. 50, 50, 50, 7, 7, 7. And only the time is different. Time here 4 hours, 8, 8. I think easy. So clear?
Clear, doctor. Super clear.
Yeah. Now for the children who are more than 20 kilo. This was for the children less than 20. This more than 20 kilo. Again, the NAC is given in 4 stages. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Dose of NAC 150, then 50, 50, 50. Same like less than 20. Same like that. 150, 50, 50, 50. But volume of dextrose not ml per kg. Volume of dextrose is fixed here. 100 milli for stage 1, 250, 250, 250. Okay, and the time is 15 minutes, 4 hours, 8, 8. Same like a child who is less than 20. Okay. Now, I think we'll be able to finish, inshallah. So I hope you remember in the beginning of lecture, I said you that we have a graph for the treatment of paracetamol. Can you see? This is a graph. Okay. This is the graph. So what is the name of this graph? Please remember the name of this graph is paracetamol treatment nomogram. Paracetamol treatment nomogram. Yani this graph will help you. Please remember, listen to my words. This graph will help you to decide I should give the NAC to the patient or I should not give. Or you can say in another words, does the patient require NAC or he don't need a NAC? Okay. So this is about the graph.
Doctor, can we have break?
You want to have break?
Yes.
Okay, then 5 minutes, then I'll be back. Yes, let's continue. As I mentioned, the paracetamol treatment nomogram is a graph that will help you to decide whether the patient need the NAC or does not need the NAC treatment or N-acetyl cysteine. Actually, this sentence I will explain later on. A single nomogram treatment line is recommended. This line has been lowered by 25%, meaning that it starts from 150 milligram per liter at 4 hours from the standard line. So the meaning I will explain you. Can you see this this graph? The left one, left side.
Yes.
Rumack-Matthew line. Okay. So the Rumack-Matthew line, which is dot 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 dot. Okay. This is actually the paracetamol. You can say nomogram. But you know, they decrease this line to 25%. You can see the tahat, there is another line which is solid. That is actually a treatment line. You got my point?
Can you explain again, doctor?
The real or the standard, I will repeat, the standard, the graph or the standard nomogram line was actually this Rumack-Matthew line, which is dot dot dot. But they decrease this line tahat, yani they bring this line down. So now the what treatment line we have is the one which is down, not the one which is above. So they bring this line down by 25%. Why they bring it down 25%? Because there is a fayda, there is advantage. Okay, what is that advantage? Yes, first is this one. So is this clear? The sentence I read, a single nomogram line, this line has been lowered by 25% from the standard line. Why? Because to take into account the following factors. What are the factors? Potential for minor error estimating the time of ingestion. Yani there can be error. You understood my point? Yani for example, suppose a patient with the paracetamol overdose come to the hospital or emergency, and you will see, check everything. Then you will ask him, what time did he take the overdose of paracetamol? So maybe his family will say before 5 hours, but actually he take it before 6 hours maybe. Yani there can be error. Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Not accurate.
Yeah, not accurate. So by taking this, the line, the dot line below, this will help us to, you know, avoid this error. Yani there will be no impact of this error. You got my point?
Yes.
Yeah. And also decreasing the line by 25% down increases the safety for all patients with potential risk factors. Okay. So remember this nomogram line, the actual standard line was up, but it was taken down to 25%. Why? Because to consider these 2 points, because there can be error in the time of ingestion, and also to increase the safety of a patient who are at a risk. Okay. So now can you just tell me the second line starts from what number?
1.
Yeah, 150. The second line is starting, but actually what was the first line starting from?
200.
Yeah, yani just for example, if you consider the first line, if someone's blood paracetamol level is above 200, then only he need NAC. You get my point or no?
Yeah, so now they make it 150.
Yeah, yani someone whose blood level is 150 or above, then 150 or above for paracetamol. This is the level of blood paracetamol. You can see here acetaminophen plasma concentration. So if someone has a plasma concentration of acetaminophen or paracetamol more than 150 at 4 hours, it means he need NAC according to second line, but according to first line, more than 200. So, but don't think nowadays only this line is available, only one line, which is second. You can see here the graph in the right side, only one line which has been reduced to 25% from the standard line. So now the other point is treat all the patients with serum paracetamol level above the nomogram treatment line. So if I give you this graph, this one, yeah, this one. So this is the nomogram line. So which patient needs a NAC? Anyone whose blood paracetamol level is above the line, above, anywhere above the line, he need NAC. If someone blood paracetamol level is below the line, he does not need NAC. You get my point?
Above which line, doctor? I didn't get you.
This red line, the graph line. Just for example, I will give you an example. Yeah, Shabab, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, suppose a patient who has taken paracetamol overdose, he come to the hospital emergency, and you check, ask him what time did he take paracetamol. He say before 5 hours. Okay, then you check his paracetamol level, blah blah blah, at 6 hours. Just say example 6 hour. So at 6 hour, tahat is the time. At 6 hour, his blood paracetamol level was 80. And 80 is here, 80 mg per liter, 80. So yani you go here above at 6 hour. So his blood paracetamol level was 80. So here, so his paracetamol level is coming above the line or below this red line?
Below, still below.
Yeah. So at 6 hour, his paracetamol level in the plasma is 80, which is coming below the line. Means this patient, he don't need NAC. Don't give him, just observe. There is another patient, you check his blood paracetamol level at 5 hours, and his paracetamol level is 160 at 5 hours. Where is 160? Yeah, here is 160, means it will come here. So what do you think? Yes, what do you think?
Give him the neck.
To start
Yeah, start the neck because his level above the line. This is the meaning, above and below the line. So if someone is above the line, above this nomogram red line, means he needs the neck. If someone is below this line, he don't need the neck. Okay, is that clear?
clear.
Yeah, but keep in the mind this last sentence. Ensure that correct units are used. Make sure you use the correct unit. There is a unit micromole per liter. There is a unit milligram per liter. Can you see here? One side you are seeing 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. What is this? Milligram per liter? No, it is
Micro mole.
yeah. So please make sure when you are seeing the paracetamol level in the blood, whether the paracetamol level in the blood is micromole per liter or it is mg per liter. If it's mg per liter, use this number. If it's micromole per liter, use this number. Any to be very sure about the unit. Okay. So now, yes.
Can I leave because I have a lab?
Okay, up to you. What's your name?
Sarah.
Full name? Sarah?
Sarah Al-Sheikh.
Okay. So yes, this is a normal treatment line. Can you see this which start here? Come here. This is normal treatment line. Okay. Above this line, treatment. Below this line, no need of treatment with the NAC. Can you also see there is one more green line here, the Saghir, the small one? Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is also a treatment line, but not a normal treatment line. This is a treatment line for the patient who are high risk. You know, chronic alcoholic, you know, malnutrition, you remember?
Yes.
Yeah, for such
Like liver
patients,
diseases.
yeah, liver diseases, malnutrition, taking drugs and alcoholic, chronic alcoholic. For such patient, this is the line. Yani you have two lines. One line for normal patient, yani normally. One line for the high risk patients. Okay. Is that clear? So
Super clear.
now before I explain you other things, let me go to yes, because this is related to that. To treat or not to treat. Yani I will give you now scenarios and the questions. You will refer them and you will tell me this patient need the NAC treatment or he don't need the NAC treatment. Yes. Please read this patient number 1, please, and tell me. Does this patient need a NAC infusion or he does not need a NAC infusion?
No, doctor.
No.
Okay, doesn't need.
Doesn't need.
Okay. So the scenario says 20-year-old women who take a handful of paracetamol tablet. Okay, yani it is overdose, tamam. And the age is young, not an old age. Age is very young. No drug history means she is not using any drugs. She is not alcohol abuser. Fit and well, healthy, no problem. Blood level at 80. Blood level is 80 mg per liter at 4 hours. So at 4 hour, if I go, so which line I will use first? Tell me, the small or the bigger one?
The big
Okay.
one, because
Big one, yeah, because no alcohol, no drug, no risk factor. So if I go 4 hours, hina tahat 4 hour, and this is 80. So my level is coming here, and very, very below the line. So what? Patient is not a high risk. Level at a 4 hours is below even the risk line. So what I will say, no need to treat with the NAC. Yes, what about this?
Takes 20 paracetamol tablets or
Hmm?
Yes, he needs the NAC.
Okay, he need NAC, you said. Oh. So let's see, 70-year-old, yeah, first is the age factor. Age is high. So we can say liver will be already, you know, not fully working or taban. Take 20 paracetamol tablets 6 hours before presentation, means he has taken before 6 hours 20 paracetamol tablet. He is an alcoholic also, but no drug history. So he is alcoholic plus he is 70 years. So do you think risk factor or no risk factor?
risk factor?
Risk
Yes.
factor.
Yeah. So blood level is 100 mg per liter at what hours? 6 hours. It's given 6 hours. So I will go to 6 hours here, and 100 will be here. So yes, tell me now.
Yes, he needs treatment for.
He needs the NAC infusion treatment. Yes, because above this risk line. So yeah, the option is treat this patient because the patient is already high risk patient and the level is above the high risk line, and the delayed presentation means he is coming after 6 hours. So delayed action means we need to act fast. Yes, this one.
No need.
No, he doesn't need.
Doesn't need. Okay, let's see that. 17-year-old epileptic, taken 25 codidramol, which is a codeine plus paracetamol tablet, 2 hours before attendance, any before coming to the emergency. And this patient is taking carbamazepine. So first you tell me which line you consider, this, the big or the small?
I think B, doctor, because he's taking other drugs as well.
Yeah, carbamazepine is an enzyme inducer, which is anti-epileptic, and it is a enzyme inducer drug. So second line. So level at 4 hours is 120.
120.
So I will go down for 4. Yeah,
It needs
120.
treatment. No?
No need. Or need.
I think it needs, no?
Yes, need treatment.
No
Because-
need, doctor.
No need. Wallah.
Yes,
No,
because
it's above the line.
under the line, doctor.
La, which line you are taking? This line or this line?
The big one.
Why big one? The patient is taking carbamazepine, which is an enzyme inducer, high risk. Treat the
Okay,
patient
yes.
because patient is high risk, taking carbamazepine, which is an enzyme inducer. Level is above the line. Yeah, now what about this scenario? This scenario says 35-year-old man in middle age who present after taking 24 paracetamol tablet over a 24 hours of time. No drug history, fit and well. Blood level is 20 mg per liter, but after how many hours? 24. So you can see this graph finish. Can you see the time down?
Yes,
Yani
you
this-
need, doctor.
No, this graph, this graph is finish at 24 hours. After 24 hours, if any presentation, this graph is not really helpful. You get my point? Because this graph start from 4 hours, finish at 24 hours.
Shouldn't the NAC be in the first 8 hours?
Pardon?
The usage of the NAC, shouldn't it be like in the first 8 hours? Or?
No, the meaning is, look, the NAC, if it is used within first 8 hours, it's highly effective. But if the patient comes late, what you will do?
They'll
Understood?
use it, but
You have to use it, yes. But the effectiveness of NAC will not be, the prognosis will be poor, you can say. So in
okay.
this case, you have to treat with the NAC because late presentation coming after 24 hours. But this is staggered overdose. Staggered means taken small doses over a long period. Poison advice is to give IV NAC. The poison control center, they say give IV NAC. But levels are not helpful for us. Can you see the level? It's saying 24 hour where my graph is finishing and it's 20 milligram per liter. The levels are not very clear for me, above, below. You understood my point?
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah. So levels are not so clear, but I have to give NAC. Okay, because of late presentation, because it's takhir. It's very late.
So you have
And-
to IV emergency.
Yeah, give IV NAC, yes. But need to monitor liver function, clotting factor, and renal function also. And also, if needed, please contact the liver unit if the results of the liver function and clotting are abnormal. Okay, so that was about few scenarios and the cases related to this nomogram. So now let's see about some decontamination approach. How we are going to manage acute single injection of paracetamol. First is decontamination. What decontamination we can say? No decontamination of any kind is indicated in pediatric patients. Remember this. In children or in pediatric patients, no decontamination. But in adults, decontamination using activated charcoal is useful. Decontamination using activated charcoal is indicated in the adult patients if they belong to the following criteria. What criteria? Presentation should be within 1 hour. And if someone take a poison and comes after 6 hours to emergency, will you give him activated charcoal?
No.
No, within 1
1
hour.
hour?
Yes, because within 1 hour poison will be in the stomach. You give activated charcoal, there will be faida. After 6 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, no faida. Okay.
Yeah.
And also the patient should be cooperative if you want to give activated charcoal. If they are non-cooperative, they may have coughing, vomiting, aspiration, charcoal may enter in their lungs, so problem. They should be cooperative. They should come to the emergency within 1 hour, and the ingestion of paracetamol should be any large, 10 gram or more than 20 mg per kg. And not like someone take 4 tablets of paracetamol and he comes to hospital and you give him activated charcoal. You understood? Means the paracetamol ingested is the poisonous amount. Special consideration for pediatric patients include decontamination is not indicated in pediatrics. Okay. And if the child is more than 6 years, the paracetamol poisoning should be considered as accidental or deliberate. Deliberate, intentional. Yes, it's intentional, deliberate, because the child is more than 6 years. And if the child is less than 6 years, then we have to consider the paracetamol exposure as accidental. If the estimated dose ingested is less than 200 mg per kg, referral to hospital, decontamination, serum paracetamol level, and follow-up are required or not required? Not required, because the ingested dose of paracetamol is below the threshold line. You know the threshold level? Acute single injection threshold level.
Yeah, the
200 mg per kg, more than 200 mg per kg. But here they are saying if it's less, means it is more, but it is not a threshold. So no need to do the decontamination or serum paracetamol or follow-up or NAC. If the dose ingested is more than 200 mg per kg, yes, then you have to treat the patient as per the acute ingestion management chart flow. So we'll complete this graph and inshallah we'll stop. Yeah. So the treatment recommendations for the paracetamol poisonings are based on time. Remember, very important is time. So the treatment of paracetamol poisoning is based on the time elapsed from paracetamol ingestion. Refer to the acute ingestion management flow chart, which we will see now. And if you have any doubt, you can call Poison Control Center or Poison Information Center. Yeah. This is a chart for acute ingestion management flow chart. You know, there are two types of paracetamol ingestion. One is acute, second was repeated supratherapeutic ingestion. So this chart is for the first type. So you have to follow this chart for the treatment. Suppose this chart works on the timing 1 hour, or you can say less than 1 hour, 1 to 8 hours, more than 8 hours. And this is the time which has passed after ingesting paracetamol overdose. Okay, suppose a patient comes to the emergency of the hospital within 1 hour of ingestion of paracetamol. So what you will do? If the patient comes to the emergency with paracetamol overdose within 1 hour,
Activate charcoal.
yes, very good. Yeah, if within 1 hour, yes, the drug is still in the GIT, in the stomach, so you will give him activated charcoal. But remember, on the activated charcoal there is a star. Star means the patient should be cooperative and the amount of paracetamol ingested should be above threshold line, and 10 gram or 200 mg per kg. Okay, if the patient is coming after 1 hour but within 8 hours, yani after 1 hour but less than 8 hours, then we will follow the second column. What we will do? He's coming after 1 hour but within 8 hours. So of course there will be no activated charcoal. Am I right? Then what we will do? Measure the serum paracetamol level within 4 to 8 hours of ingestion. Yani check the level of paracetamol after how much time?
After 4 to 8 hours of ingestion.
Yeah. Look here. Yani just I will give you, a tricky question now here. Suppose the patient comes to the hospital after ingesting paracetamol overdose 2 hours. Yani he ingested before 2 hours and he come to the hospital. Will you check his paracetamol level alatul?
No, wait 2 more hours.
Yeah, yani you have to check the paracetamol level only after 4 hours, because this nomogram start from 4 hours. Can you see here? Before 4 hours there is no line. Can you see?
Yeah.
So they say it's minimum 4 hours, and after 4 hours only the significant amount of paracetamol appears in the blood. Yani that is the time required for its complete absorption.
So what do we have to do? Charcoal or?
No, if within 1 hour, charcoal. If 1 hour passed, you have to monitor and give supportive care to the patient. If his glucose is down, give him glucose. His BP is down, hypo, the fluid. But checking paracetamol level should be after 4 hours only. You got my point?
Yeah.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, after 4 to 8 hours, check paracetamol level. Okay. Suppose you check the paracetamol level. Now the paracetamol level, after you get the paracetamol level, what you will do? You will go to this graph. You remember? And you will see the paracetamol level is coming above the line or below the line. Am I right? So if your paracetamol level is coming under the line, under the nomogram line, what you will do?
No treatment required.
Yeah, no medical treatment is required because it's under the line, below line. If the paracetamol level is over the nomogram treatment line,
Start treatment.
yeah, start, or you can say commence means start the NAC infusion. You give him NAC infusion in the stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Okay, good. now we will come to the third chart. If someone come to the emergency hospital after 8 hours, and suppose after 9 hours, what you will do? You have to start. This is a late presentation or early? This is late. Already he is late. Am I right? So what you will do? Don't do anything. Ala tul, directly start NAC infusion because already he is late. Maybe he have liver damage or something. Okay? And you start NAC without doing anything. After starting NAC, meanwhile, you can check the serum paracetamol level. You can check the ALT. Then you check the serum paracetamol level on the nomogram and you check on the graph. If it is under the nomogram line, or if the patient has already passed 24 hours, what you will do? Check ALT. If the ALT is normal, yes, means stop the NAC, no further treatment is required. Any ALT is normal and the treatment, the paracetamol level is below the line, or the patient has already finished 24 hours after taking paracetamol, means khalas. If the paracetamol level is over the line or above the nomogram line, continue the NAC. Already you have started NAC in the stage 1 here. Sorry, not stage 1, in the first step. So again, continue the NAC infusion. Continue the NAC infusion. And meanwhile, again, measure the ALT at the end of NAC infusion. If ALT is normal, yes, no further investigation is required. If ALT is not normal, then again continue the NAC and again check ALT, continue the NAC, like this, till you get the NAC, the ALT result normal. Is this clear?
Clear, doctor. So if I will continue NAC infusion, then I'll go back to commence NAC infusion?
Yeah, again, if your ALT is abnormal.
Okay.
If ALT is normal, then no need. Khalas, ALT is normal means no need of NAC. Can you see here? Look, it's tartib. First you start the NAC because already 8 hours finished. He's coming very late to the emergency hospital. Start NAC. After finishing the NAC, check serum paracetamol level and check the ALT level and go to the graph. If the paracetamol level is below the line and ALT is normal, khalas, stop NAC and no need. He's finished. If the paracetamol level is above the line, again continue NAC, again finish the NAC, again check the ALT. If ALT is normal, khalas, stop the treatment. If ALT is abnormal still after giving NAC 2 times, again you have to continue NAC till you get the ALT normal.
Okay, clear.
Yeah. So we will stop our discussion here.